When it comes to crisis and recovery, that is not something any of us has learned in university or in your MBA program or wherever you have been to. That is something we had to deal with, the whole world had to deal with on an ad hoc basis. I have seen female leaders dealing with it on point better, because on some point you just had to apply emotional intelligence. You had to look at it and you had to say, and this is how we make it work and this is how we can deal with that. We don't have that many male leaders in our industry. We have a lot of ladies in the HR, on the HR level, on the senior level. And I find looking at individual pictures and not just looking at the bottom number, it's very easy if your boss is saying you need to cut 10%. Where you cut, how you deal with that, how you make it possible, how you make now the work from home, the remote working. I think we were arguing that for 20 years, and COVID has proved us right. It is possible. It is not always easy, but definitely it is possible. So on that point, I would say women sometimes going with their gut feeling, what is now called emotional intelligence, has definitely proven positive. During the pandemic, one is, of course, the personal situation, what all of us had to handle. Now, again, coming to women, we were faced with homeschooling of our children. So you have homeschooling, you have a very different situation at your hand. Everybody who has worked from home and has kids at home, and we're talking men and women here, we have faced our fair share. And I think we were all very excited going back to the office after that stay. So the challenges were having everybody on board. There's people for whom it's much easier to pick up the phone, to have team calls, to stay on board. You have other people you needed to look out for. You needed to make sure this whole thing is working. I think mainly the people who are quieter, that was the biggest risk, that they fall overboard on one point or the other. So to make sure we're moving ahead as a team and we are not losing focus. For us in our industry, maritime and legal, as lawyers, of course, I must say the UAE was amazing how quickly the court system moved to an online scheme, and we had arbitrations as well, how quickly everything was moving into online hearings. That worked quite well. For women, I would advise, I would say again, we need to be a bit bolder here and having the individual at our forefront. I think by the end of 2020, we were all thinking that 2021 might return back to normal. Now it depends on which country you are in. In the UAE, we can say numbers are skyrocketing. So we are all aware now that for the, I think till third quarter, we will not be back to normal. We will have to conduct the way we have been working. We will work from home. We have to be very careful with any kind of social interaction. All our networking events, where I know all of us miss it dearly, they're postponed, they're moved away, they're still not happening. So on that point, people have gotten used to it now. We need to hang in this a little bit longer, at least till the summer. I think we have to see where it's going. We have to see how vaccination will work out, if that makes us safer. Looking at opportunities and try to network in the limited way we have at the moment. Use social media as much as you can and stay in touch with your most important, with your customers, with your suppliers. So try to stay active on top of things.
I believe leadership qualities are basic requirement for the job. There's nothing much different between a female or male leaders, the qualities what they have to have. However, as female leaders, bestowed with some unique qualities like a bit of extra empathy, more communicative, more inclusiveness, and also sharing information and more community driven. Feminine leaders also share the bottom line expectation to the team. I would say this is again not a female or male leaders. If you openly share our task and expectation and performance driven and help the team to achieve their respective goal, have the bigger picture. This would be a leadership quality I normally follow. And again, I say there's not much different between female and male leaders, other than we are more, little more empathy And also female leaders are more multitask, so they handle things in a more collective manner. That's how I would say. COVID-19 pandemic was a global issue every organization has challenged, and the way of working has changed, and we have to motivate people, keeping them together and giving them the confidence was the biggest challenge we have got. And also we learned when there is a adverse challenge, we also learned that we can always find opportunities to find new ways to handle things. And keeping the team together and giving them the confidence, motivating them was the biggest challenge and biggest experience we have had in this pandemic time, I would say. The whole world has come in terms of new way of working. When there is no possibility of face-to-face meeting, a face-to-face meeting is good and more effective. But when that is not possible, we adapted to online meeting and doing things without traveling, and new ways, using the technology to advantage to achieve our goals and targets. And it was not an easy thing to do, but I think this gives us an opportunity to use the technology more, and also I would say thinking little on the next generation way of doing things. I think we always believe we have to meet people to do get the effective meeting arrangement or whatever it is. But it's when it is not possible, we learned that there's other ways to do things and using the technology to our advantage. When there's an adverse situation, there's always opportunities. I always believe in taking advantage of any opportunities, or not to miss any opportunities. Now, in my role, I travel around the world to do business, to meet my team, meet my officers, meet my customers, meet my suppliers, which was not since March last year. I didn't travel almost 1 year, but we still were able to achieve our targets and work in a new way. I would say now when you don't travel, you have a lot of time in hand. So we take advantage of this situation, and I would say when things are back to normal, preparing the team was very important. So I would say invest this time into training and development. And as a person also, when we have time in hand, we can have more time for a self-development and also more time for the family. And the other thing is there's a lot of cost saving happening now because people are working from home, not traveling. I would say invest this cost saving into new development, and we are looking at new markets and new development, new diversifying our business into different areas of business. So I would say when there's an adversity, there's always an opportunity, and we should make use of the opportunity to build the future, I would say. Thank you.
Pragmatism, patience and practicality are among the chief skills that women bring to crises and recovery. It's our ability to see the big picture and know what needs to happen when. People are the lifeblood of every economy, and everyone has suffered at some point during the past year. It's about finding flexible solutions that work for all in the team, allowing people to maintain their work-life balance while accommodating any extra responsibilities they now have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. I think the big lesson for all of us from the COVID-19 pandemic is that people respond to crises differently, and that people's well-being must be prioritised. We've all had the tools to work remotely for many years, but not all of us have used them. I, for example, have always saved documents on my desktop instead of on shared drives. That has now changed. The past year forced us all to change. And as a result, our acceptance and appetite for technology is second to none. I believe that this advancing digitalization will shape our industry in the decade to come. It's true that we are operating in uncertain times, but the rollout of national vaccination programs is cause for hope. I think the legacy will be the different ways of working we've learned, and I think these lessons have advantages for both employers and employees alike. Technology is not just an enabler, but it is also a flattener of hierarchies. While nothing beats networking face-to-face, one-on-one, in a room with somebody you know and can build a relationship with. Nobody's had any choice but to use digital forums in the past year. And these gatherings can also be more intimate because they can allow you to share your views and insights in a way that you simply can't do in a large echoey reception room unless you've been nominated as a speaker. It also allows people the ability to grow their network beyond their local community because nobody needs to travel anymore.
As a female, to start with, by default, we are a multitasker. You're a woman, you're an employee, you're a babysitter, you're a teacher. It all comes together. Within this area, within this time period of COVID, this is actually has shown up and everybody has started up to be everything at the same time. As a woman, as an employee, this is actually was my greatest accomplishment, being a mother and being an employee at the same time. During this time period of COVID, actually, it showed out for us, it showed that safety is the most important thing to us. We always put work as our priority, but within the last year, this is showed up to be wrong, and we actually discovered that our human capital is the most important thing and our priority to keep them safe. Without our employees, without our students, there will be no operation. This is what helps us grow and develop. As mothers, as students, as employees, all of them has different policies, different kind of work. With the current situation now and in the future, everybody will be having a chance, especially mothers and students, to actually be part of the working force. COVID gave everybody a chance, actually. It wasn't just, it's more like a blessing in disguise. Mothers, students will be able to work at home. They don't have to go to work to be in offices and start working from 8 to 3. All this will be changing. The policies for work will be changing with this. Mothers, students, anybody who is actually working and studying will have more chance to do so, especially as women. Since we always concerned on the family, now we'll have more opportunity to actually be there in the workforce and without being there, by using those kind of policies of being able to stay home and working at the same time.
I'm Marwa Selehdar. I was the first Egyptian girl to join Maritime field. I opened this field for girls after me. I graduated from Arab Academy for Maritime Transport in Egypt. And after my graduation, I studied with Cardiff University. I finished my MBA. I faced a lot of obstacles for being a female in this field. The first one was out of my hand, my gender. Since I graduated, I had applied for getting my C service as a cadet. I had applied for a lot of companies, but the answer was always the same, that there is no place for females on board their ships. I couldn't stop dreaming. I couldn't stop thinking about my future and what I'm looking for, and I want to be a captain. And to be a captain, I have to finish sea service from second officer to first officer, like a year and a half practical life. And after I got my chief mate ticket, I have to work another year and a half, 18 months on board ships. So to get all this time on board ship, I have to get a good opportunity and chance to work. And I was lucky. I got this chance from Arab Academy, and I worked on board the motor vessel Aida 4. It's a training ship. But dealing with different mentalities and cultures on board requires me to be smart and to work harder and to learn more and to gain a lot of knowledge. Also giving an order to people and making them follow your order for people older than you on board ship requires a lot. And for making those people believe that female or girls or me can do this requires a lot of hard work, and requires a lot of a lot of time far away from home. This is another obstacle, and far away of any social life. But I always thought about my needs. I always thought about that I want to be a captain, and all this. I'm enjoying every moment on board. I'm enjoying every day being on board, and every sunset and every sunrise. To be honest, those was my favorite times on board. But women and girls continue to face obstacles in achieving equality in this field. So we are looking for a better future for all of us. Females present from 2 to 3% in this field. So if we afford them a chance to work on board or to gain their training on board, I think this percent will increase, and we might be 50% females and 50% men in this field. So my message to my seafarer colleagues and sisters, never let anyone make you believe that you cannot reach your dream. Keep fighting, because you can do it. And keep your professional performance and attitude will help you a lot. And be supportive to other women, please. Thank you. I'm so glad to be part of this, and thank you so much.